What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the overall markets. I'm also going to talk about some new developments on the charts and a big catalyst that could be coming very soon. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $2,000, you're guaranteed 30 in total. So as far as the market is going right now, it's reacting to what Jerome Powell is saying. He's in front of the U.S. House of Representatives right now giving a testimony. He gave a speech in the beginning insinuating that everything is okay with the economy. It's still showing a lot of strength. We're not in a recession and so on and so forth. He was asked about politics and tariffs. It's very political, if anything, and he's trying to avoid that entirely. So that's kind of like the stance he's taking. But when asked about inflation, he's been saying that there's been a lot of progress that's been made despite the fact that it remains elevated right now. So those are his words. We're still waiting to see what else he's going to say. I got kind of tired of just listening to this, so I decided to just make a video instead. But anyways, what's happening with the markets? We have a very, very big piece of news that came out. I'm seeing a lot of headlines coming out about Donald Trump saying that he could be announcing more tariffs as soon as today. So we'll be watching this very, very closely. Keep in mind that Donald Trump is saying that he wants to level the playing field for the U.S. in his view. He also mentioned that he's working with his trade advisors to forge more plans, and they could be making an announcement very, very soon. He said on Monday, okay, that he was going to be announcing the reciprocal tariffs on Tuesday or Wednesday. And then he mentioned that the duties would go into effect almost immediately on every country. And then he added that very simply, if they charge us, we will charge them. So that's his view, at least thus far. Um, in his view, he thinks that the reciprocal tariffs are necessary, but don't forget there's going to be some short-term consequences of them. Even if he does try to argue in favor of the long-term benefits, people have different views, whether you like him or not. I respect that. Donald Trump is arguing that it's worth it for the long term. You may or may not agree with that, but for the short term, we all could agree that there's going to be a big disruption. It's going to cause prices to go up. It's going to be affecting inflationary numbers, our GDP, and the list goes on. That's why all these times Trump has announced tariffs or even like called out different countries, it's caused the market to dip so far because of the short-term consequences. So we'll see how that goes. As far as Trump is going, just know that there's a lot of sources, right? Looking at Reuters and many others like that, reporters are being told that as soon as today, he might be signing an order to put these tariffs into effect. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, we're not just talking about things hypothetically. We're talking about him actually announcing these tariffs, imposing them possibly on European countries, and the list goes on. So we don't know which countries will be involved exactly quite yet. It could be including a lot of European countries. It could be including lots of Asian countries like Japan, Malaysia, and the list goes on. We don't know the exact details. Just know that Europe has already made it very clear that if Donald Trump imposes tariffs on them, they're going to reciprocate the same thing. They're going to try to raise retaliatory tariffs on the US. So it's going to be a trade war that's going on right now. We'll see if Donald Trump makes the announcement, and then we'll see what that leads to, at least as time goes on. So I don't know for sure if he's going to do it today. I'm just trying to say that reports are saying that he will. And if that's the case, it's going to be very impactful. It's going to be affecting a lot of costs and factors like that. So what's happening to the markets? SPY is trying to bounce a little bit after Jerome Powell is speaking. Jerome Powell has remained very optimistic about the economy, and he keeps on saying that we're not in a recession. He keeps pushing the soft landing narrative, so that is what's helping the market to some extent. It's also trying to bounce after CPI came out after getting such a big dump. If we reclaim 603, this will have potential to try to push up for like 603.69 and eventually back up to where this trend line is. But overall, it's not looking like it's that favorable because SPY is showing lots of signs of shuffling. Despite that, if we do try to push a little bit higher, I would still be very, very careful because this whole pump could be eliminated after Donald Trump announces the tariffs. What proof do I have of that? We'll look at some examples on the chart. So back a couple of weeks ago, Donald Trump announced tariffs on China, Mexico, and Canada. Right? As soon as that announcement was made, SPY went from the 609 area and then it opened at 590 within one day. So it dumped 20 points within a day when the announcement came out. Okay. Then we got the news that the Canadian tariffs were delayed alongside the Mexican ones after negotiations were made. So the market started to make a recovery move. We made a full recovery. Then Donald Trump announced that he's going to be announcing more tariffs again basically this week. So he made the announcement on Friday that he's going to make another big announcement about tariffs. The market dumps 8 points as a result. So my point is, when he makes this announcement, I think that this may cause the market to dip. We're going to be watching to see if SPY could hold 600. If not, I'm going to be looking for essentially 598 and then 596. If that fails us, we have 590 and 584. So those are some levels to watch for just in case. As far as the market goes, we're just waiting for Jerome Powell to finish. I think this is going to go on for maybe another hour or so. It goes on for a long time. They're just going to continue to question him. So we have the testimony right over here. Besides that, there's nothing else coming out in terms of our economic data. We do have PPI data tomorrow. Those just keep that in mind. But besides that, the market's going to try to bounce a bit for now. But I just want to give you guys a warning about the tariffs. If that's announced, that could cause the market to reverse. So just be very careful. For now, we'll see if SPY can reclaim 603 or not. The QQQ is going to try to get back up to about 528. We'll have to see if we hold above that or not. If we don't, we could still dip back down to 524 or below. So just keep those levels in mind. And if that fails us, we're looking for a bigger dip. We're going to wait and see what Donald Trump says and how that ends up affecting us. For the Russell, our supports are going to be at 220 and 222. Our resistance is going to be at 225. For now, we're in a range, but just keep in mind that we're waiting for the tariff news. If that comes out, that could still cause us to retest 220 or below. ES is holding right now. We have a range, so we have this tough resistance where this trend line is. Every time we hit the trend line, we're just rejecting so far. But to be bullish, you want to break past that. We haven't done that yet. So our tough resistance is at 60.72 on ES, and then our support is currently at 60.48. So that's the range on ES. If we lose 60.48, there's going to be a risk of us dipping to about 60.20, then eventually 6,000 flat. So we're stuck in the middle. So give this some time to develop, and we'll see which way this ends up going. It is possible we dip lower, though, so keep that in mind as time goes on. And when the tariff news comes out, it could cause a big move, so we're going to wait for that as well. He might be announcing them at any given moment. For NQ, our resistance is at 21,755, and our support is currently at 21,584. If we lose that support, we're looking for a dip closer to about 21,400. So keep that in mind in case we do get that rug pull later on. For now, the market's trying to push, and we are looking a little bit more like we want to bounce because of Jerome Powell. But then, like I said before, I don't fully trust this bounce will last forever if Donald Trump truly announces the tariffs soon. So this could be a temporary move up, but then, like I said before, be careful. For Nvidia, we're trying to balance a bit. We have tough resistance though at 133, and our support's at 128. We've held support so far. We're trying to push, and we could get closer to like 132. So for now, Nvidia is trying to bounce, but like I said before, we're waiting for the tariff announcement. So just be careful, just to be safe. For others out there, such as Tesla, Tesla is looking quite good. We're looking bullish right now, at least on Tesla, trying to push towards our next resistance area. So that's not something that's kind of changing for now. We're trying to continue to push, at least for the time being. So Tesla is going to be looking for 340 as our resistance. If we break this, we're looking for a bigger pump back up towards the resistances. And if we end up losing 330, we're going to be looking for a dip to about 320. Overall, we look bullish. We could be looking for 340 plus for a temporary push on Tesla, but just know this may not last forever once the tariff announcements come out, if they do end up coming. So yes, look for 340, then 346 is our targets on Tesla for a bounce, but be careful in case some news comes out. Apple's looking bullish. We're looking for 236 as our resistance. If this breaks, I think 238 could be coming. And if we turn back down, we're going to be looking for 232 as our target, so keep that in mind. For coin, we're trying to bounce here. You guys could quite clearly see we might be trying to target 275. We'll see if we could hold above that or not. Otherwise, we could reject. Amazon's trying to push for 230. If we hold above this, we're looking for a target of 232.5. Then we'll see if we reject or not. Meta is on a nice uptrend. We have to see, as long as we're above 714, we could be favoring 725 to be retested. Microsoft, we're looking for support at 408. We'll have to see if that holds or not. There's also resistance at 412, so it's in a range, but there's that risk of downside. Google's trying to hold 183. That's the main support. We have resistance at 189. So I think it's just range bound as well. So most of these tech stocks are kind of stuck. So we'll give them some time to develop. So with that being said, the market is doing a good job at holding up. I think we just got some news in real time, which is why the market's starting to push. I think Donald Trump has just announced that he and Putin agreed to have respective teams start negotiating. That could be part of why we're pushing as well. I'm seeing some news that just came out in real time. So besides that, I I usually use, unusual whales for this news. They have like a really, really good way of seeing news in real time or very close to that. So that could be part of why we're pushing just a bit. But like I said before, be careful. So even if we try to go a little higher, don't forget that the Trump tariffs are still likely coming. And who knows when he's going to announce them, whether they're today or later on tomorrow. Whenever he's going to announce them, be careful. That could still turn us back down. So we'll see how well SPY holds up. Like I said before, we're watching this resistance around, right now it's at 603.7, around that area. And we'll see if we hold. If not, we could still turn back down. And then once the tariff news comes out, I just want to give you guys a warning. That could still cause a move to the downside later on. There's still that risk. So keep that in mind, guys. Thank you all so much for listening, and peace out.